image with the people, because people are fast losing their trust in the judiciary, and they have been hoping, since someone already called for a live broadcast of this court proceedings, people have been hoping that, okay, would have a first-hand information, at least watching it live at our comfort zones would actually be some sort of things that will pacify the hearts of the people concerning the judiciary.
Yeah, people will see judgments their own way. Of recent, we had a judgment on the governor of Osun State now by the judiciary. You need to hear what people say about the courts. It says the last hope of the common man. It means if it goes your way, you give kudos. If it doesn't, you lambast. So between lambasting and giving kudos, for me, judiciary remains we should not desecrate the temple of justice. As far as I'm concerned, they have given their judgment, so be it.
All right, as we count down, of course, it seems this incoming administration is already having a lot of responsibility lying on its shoulders. Let's not even talk about the state of the economy yet, and even the security situation and some others in the country. Let's talk about the expectations of some sect of people in the country. Yoruba Youth Group demands constitutional role for traditional rulers. That was some days ago, and just yesterday it came out on the news that Yoruba monarchs list expectations from Tinubu, which is actually like a backing for the cause from a Yoruba group, which is a group under the aegis of Yoruba Afenifere Youth Organization of Nigeria, YOYAN. The called on the incoming administration of Bola Tinubu to grant statutory role to the nation's royal fathers in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, demanding that they be provided with monthly security votes amounting to 50% of the funds allocated to each state of the Federation. And, they continue like that. But let me take the one that is actually fresh, which came from the monarchs directly now. Yoruba Albas Forum, a group of traditional rulers from communities in the southwest and north central Nigeria, has listed 8 areas that the incoming administration of the President-elect Bola Tinubu must give priority attention to engender development. The monarchs made their position known in a statement co-signed by administrator of the forum, Oba Odunwayo Ajayi, the president of the forum, who doubles as the Molokun of Atijere, Oba Samuel Adeoye, of the forum's general secretary, the Olukotun of Ikotunile, Oba Abdurazak Abioye. The royal fathers asked Tinubu to ensure clear constitution roles for traditional rulers as 4th tier of government to replace the existing local government authorities with local councils under traditional rulers. Let's take it from there. I'll continue listing out the requests, but let's take this first one. They're asking the administration to give a clear constitution roles for traditional rulers as 4th tier of government to replace the existing local government authorities with local councils under traditional rulers. How achievable do you think this request is? Even if it is granted, do you think it's going to work with the people if the local government has been removed and replaced with the monarch's power?
You remember in the First Republic, the monarchs had a serious amount of powers that they can live on, to the extent that the Ooni of Ife then was the governor of the Western region. That tells you that they were highly revered then. It was only when the military took over that they seemed to demystify the powers of our traditional rulers. As we speak, if you go to Britain, you see how they highly revered the traditional, the royalty is still there. But if you ask me, what the agenda we should be setting for the incoming president should be, for me, more than this. It's like we are trivializing it. It's not only Yoruba Obas that are there, the Igbos would come, the Emirs will come on their own. So if you ask me, I think it's petty as far as I'm concerned. We have more serious issues to contend with. However, it's a free world. They are free to ask for whatever
they want.
Yeah, I mean, it will be looked into.
All right, over to you, Larry Fadansi. There's another request here. Rulers to effectively oversee the security affairs of each domain in conjunction with traditional, native, and other government security apparatus. apart from asking for constitution rules, which would actually set aside the local government and replace it with the monarch being the fourth tier of government, they're also asking for at least 50%, which was actually included in the calls by the Yoyan earlier made. Now they're asking for at least 50% of the security votes to the traditional rulers to effectively oversee the security affairs of their domain. What do you think about this one? What's your view on this?
First and foremost, I would like to know the catalogue of activities of that Yoyan before now. Anything other than that, and it means that it's a creation of now. If indeed they have not been vociferous about issues in Nigeria, the Yoyan is not asking for restructuring. The Yoyan has never made a statement. It's now talking in tandem with what the royal fathers are talking about. You get it? So it's like some people put some group of individuals together and they got a name. Like if they have a catalogue of when they were registered, what their activities had been, that will make it, with me, will sit well with me.
Well,
because a lot of other fundamental issues.
The Yoyan talked before the monarchs came
within
out to talk.
The space of
it's like
a
they were
week.
saying the same.
You don't get the drift. Within the space of a week, do you get the understanding and addressing?
Same thing.
Yeah. So what have they?
from-
What has been the position of Yoyan about herdsmen attacking Yoruba land and the rest of it? What has been the position of Yoyan about the Yoruba nation? These are some of the questions about restructuring. About, you understand? So if they have not had a voice all this while, coming out to make a position, and the next thing we are hearing the traditional rulers asking for 50%, then the Yoyan could be a creation of another group. Now, that aside. Now, as the fourth tier of government, if that is the demand, then I don't think they are extricating the local government. The three tiers of government is the state government, the federal government, state government, and the local government. So if they're asking to be the fourth tier of government, it's not as if they are removing the local government.
They want to be the one to oversee the local government.
I mean, well, what happened?
In
They shouldn't
terms
have been
of what?
asking for the fourth
Wait,
tier.
in terms of what?
According to, furthermore, they asked for devolution of more powers to the local government areas under the supervision of traditional rulers.
Well, that's
So which means
what
they're
I'm
trying to
saying.
take over the local government.
Well, if in a part they are now saying that, then they should have been asking to be the third tier. That's my position. You understand? Because you are the first, second, third. So if you're asking to be the fourth, yes, well, you might be asking for part of the powers of the third tier, which is the local government, to be given to the traditional rulers. That aside, let's look at that issue properly. 50% of security vote. Do you have powers to get ammunition? Do you have powers as traditional rulers to get some of these things? You want to use traditional system. All these ones could be, but like Dr. Andrew said, there are serious fundamental issues, very, very serious
Should have
fundamental
been
issues
raised.
that they should have
instead
raised.
of- Do you think they are doing this because the president-elect is from Southwest, even though we have, some other people, especially from the North Central?
Now, the truth is
Joining
this,
this,
they have asked
movement.
for traditional rulers involvement. They are not talking about just Yoruba traditional rulers. So
Yes.
if the question is, they are asking for it for everybody across board. So it includes the Obi of Onitsha, it includes the Sultan of Sokoto and the rest of them. But the point is, there are more serious issues of discourse that we
Yes.
must walk away from.
Now, Tony, there are three major powers: the exclusive, the concurrent, and the residual powers. Now, if you talk about residual powers, it's in the Constitution. Actually, it's the state government that will still atop that. Then, local government will now come in. If they're asking for the fourth power, it will become a constitutional issue. So maybe if the new aspiration will look into that, then let the National Assembly look into that. It's not just for the asking. It has to pass through the usual processes.
The due
First reading,
processes,
second
okay.
reading.
Constitution review, that's the thing.
Yes.
It must be constitutionally recognized
It
before
has
you
to.
can come
It
in.
has to.
It's not something that you can just ask the incoming
And you will be
administration
given.
to act upon.
So the new aspiration may, I don't know.
But
They
then
may look into it.
overall, is the core important? Is it a good thing, everything they're asking for now?
That's what I'm saying to you.
Does it look like it could help, the development of
yes.
their domains?
Especially on security. I think it will help on security. especially.
Okay.
Because every security situation is local. So if you ask me, I think on that, I will give
Yes,
security.
yes.
I can support them on that.
Okay. All right, let's take some calls. 0913 00933 It's about the incoming administration and, of course, all the calls for different things from the incoming administration, especially from the monarchs from the southwest and also the north central. Please, if you're calling in, try to turn down the volume on your radio, and as well, please make your comments short and civil. 091 3000 1049 00933 1049. Those are the numbers to call. A lot of expectations from the incoming administration, but we do not even know where the administration will start from. We have a lot of issues on ground, a lot of it. And there's also something, before I start taking calls, there's something that came out yesterday from an investigative journalist on Twitter anyways, on Day. He said that the president-elect is trying, according to what he heard from an insider who's close to the president-elect, Bola Tinubu, he said he's trying to talk the president, Muhammadu Buhari, into declaring a public holiday on Friday, May 26.
What for?
So,
of the National Assembly and the Labour Party Secretariat trying to tell the Labour Party to forget about its case. And there are so many things happening that have not played out with the democratic precept. Democracy says go to court. They're in court and things are being done to try and let's allow a seamless transition and the rest of it. Well, whatever it's worth, if Tunde then is saying that and they declare a public holiday, you see, there is one thing Yoruba say that if lie thrives for 20 years, truth catches up with it. And so, if indeed Tunde then is insinuating that probably some people let the whole thing happen, let the transition truth of what happened. In the hearts of men, we all saw that it played out and all the rest. But the truth of it is, we are not actually interrogating what we should be interrogating. Throughout the various regimes, inflation was between 7 and 8%. It was under the present administration that it became double-digit 22%, from 17, 18 down to 22%. What we should be talking about is how can Nigerian lives be better? How can you improve the value of the naira? It's been depreciated and all that one, and the more the naira is depreciated, the more the value of Nigerian lives. That's what we are. We should concern ourselves about that more now.
There's even one update concerning the state of Nigeria under the present administration. Knocks over Buhari's failure to curb rising inflation in 8 years tenure. And I think people are also already looking up to the incoming administration to at least be able to do something, so we do not have a repeat of what we had during this present administration. So I don't know if and according to the president, he has been saying that the president-elect, the incoming administration, would continue with what he has been doing and will also use the same pace, the same strategy, the same style, because he believed in his own style and the pace at which he worked. So I do not know if it is also okay for the incoming administration to use the same style as this outgoing administration when it comes to governance.
I can assure you, he's not going to use the same style. You see, the system that incoming president is trying to do is like he's going to refer to experts. We know the causes of inflation. We have cost push, we have demand pull, and we have hyperinflation. In most countries, you could be bedeviled by one of these three I mentioned, but in Nigeria, we are bedeviled with the three. Cost push, because cost of raw materials, cost of doing business are so huge and so high that by the time you have a finished product, the prices will be high. That's cost push, because the raw materials we use are expensive. Then demand pull. We don't have enough the evil effect of inflation on money. Further, that inflation has destroyed the aspect of money that we talk about. The value of money will have been devastated. The other parts or functions of money has been bedeviled by inflation. So, but what we needed to do is now to attack these causes with a view to finding solutions. Now, there's also what's called time value of money. whether you did nothing, whether you acted expectedly or not, the value of money will continue to depreciate over time. You will recall when you were going to primary school, you were taking coins. You still get change on coins. Who does that these days? I gave coins to old coins which I held to my grandson, and he called it coins is supposed to be part of our currency. What I'm saying in essence is that there are causes. We should look at solutions to those causes rather than playing politics with it. But what I blame the present administration for is that they were unable to do something about it. One of the causes is this insecurity. Food insecurity is there. Farmers cannot go to farm. You either kill them or you ask them to pay a humongous amount of money for them to go to farm. So these are the causes, and these are the things we needed to do to prevent continued inflation. So
well, that is placed. Well, you see, when we're academic with some things we do, we tend to evade the reality of it. Why don't farmers go to farm? Because some people want their land for grazing. And so if we cannot be sincere with ourselves, we got to where we are today because of misgovernance, because of misplaced values, because of the complacent nature of those in power. And policy somersaults. When they came, exchange was about 190 and it was stable. But suddenly, you empowered Bureau de change against all others. And suddenly those were the authorities calling shots. And they took over the running of our currency. You will recall that we were finding money everywhere as if our money was growing here and there. Abandoned at airports, abandoned here. And that was because so many things went wrong with the monetary policy. And we got as far as 700 to $1. Now, what is scaring me is that in the last electioneering, what made people made it easy for people to assess the past administration was because of promises made before they came. We are going to make 4 or 5 refineries or those. So we are going to make dollar to naira this rate. We are going to reduce the cost of. We are going to remove subsidy because it was a scam. These were the promises. But what scares me is that in the last election, the APC was not making commitments again as to what, because they have
what
seen.
Was used for campaign.
Because what was used for campaign was used against them as failings when you assess what was promised and what was delivered. Do you get the drift? And suddenly, we had to pay more for petrol. We had to pay more for electricity. We had to pay virtually more for everything. Rise from 8,000, 40-something thousand per bag, and income did not change. You see, in economics, you want to look at, okay, what are the things disturbing our nation's economy? Our neighbors are taking advantage of the cheap price of our energy, petroleum products. We want to increase it. When you are doing that, you now look at your own citizens who might be suffering for it and increase their own incomes too.
So that can meet up.
So that those foreign, but you did it, those people outside are now like, oh, but you did not help your own citizens. So this, look, Jonathan did it. When Jonathan increased the cost, pump price of petrol, salaries went to that amount of 30,000. So to people, you must think about your citizens. If you look at the history of wages in the United States, there was a time, it was a few years back, it was $5 per hour. Then in some states it went as far as $13, $15 per hour because of the economic changes that they had to make to meet up international demands and strengthen the dollar. But they cannot leave their citizens to be suffering. So before you know it now, if they remove subsidy, they increase pump price of petrol now, you will discover that to go from here to Abere, you probably will have to pay 1,000 naira. And coming back,
we do
and
not really
if
hope
income
we get
does
to
not
that
change,
point anyways.
Yes.
no, if income does not now change, how do you now want people to adjust? That is the reality.
Hello, it's very difficult defending this government. They have not done well at all, especially areas of sensitive issue with the people. I always mention 3 areas: the tripod stand, the health, education, and food industry. But my question is, why couldn't we were here together? There are solutions to all this. When you talk now, people will say textbook. Whenever I bring out a solution, I am referring to the situation that this had happened with other countries and now they got out of it. There is nothing bad in referring to those ones.
Okay.
But why didn't this government do the right thing right at the right time? To the extent that it's been lambasted up to this. What is their take? It's only it affects us Nigerians. But I hope things will change with the incoming government.
We all hope so, that things would change with the incoming administration. You can all call in now, 0913-1049, 0809-333-1049. Let's hear your own opinion also concerning this issue surrounding the incoming administration. Let's take the comments we have on Facebook from Remo Ora Shakin Orainka. I don't know if I got that right. Nigeria need to celebrate the upcoming constitutional change of government. God bless Nigeria. All right. And Aderi Kola Adeyemi Prince said, good afternoon. Okay, I'll get to that later. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Johnson calling from Mongolia.
All right.
Yeah, quickly want to make Mr. Lankara said something about the election process. It is very clear that Asiwaju had 8 billion plus to do, Atiku had 8 billion plus to do, and Peter had 6 million. So why are we not doing INEC? This that gave this to this youth. It is clear that this election is divided along ethnic lines. Who voted like that? We have to do INEC for that as well. The political parties have also done the groundwork. If they don't get the candidates for vote, then the vote will go along the same line. We cannot be giving INEC for giving us various candidates. That's why the election is divided. So we cannot be giving INEC all the time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for your contribution. Let's get again to Facebook from Oluwa Shegun Ayodeji Olowoyeye. He said, new era of nepotism. And then he added laughing emoji to it. I don't know if he is actually trying to forecast what would happen during the presence of the incoming administration, because as he said new era of nepotism. Maybe that is what he is.
Well, we don't know what he means by that, but I can tell you we should not be pessimistic about this incoming. You see, when in Yoruba parlance, when you just give birth to a newborn baby, you welcome that baby.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
And then you don't wish that baby bad. It's a newborn baby. Everybody will be praying for that child. That's how I want us to look at the administration. Then don't also forget that we are beginning to see handwriting on the wall. There are 16 solid change amendment to the constitution, which is reeling towards what is called fiscal federalism.
Okay.
I think we should be very hopeful. Things will be better.
All right, 0913-1049, 009-333-1049. If you have any difficulty joining us via the first one, you can always try the second one, which is 0809-333-1049. Hello, good afternoon. All right, we lost that call. You can try to call back or then drop your comment on Facebook. Let's move while we expect calls from the people concerning the incoming administration. All right, hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
Emmanuel calling from the studio.
All right, you're welcome, Emmanuel.
My regards to the analyst in the studio. Both of them have spoken on Bian's mind. And I thought I want to be optimistic about the coming administration that they will do the building of Nigeria and Nigeria will be better for you. Having said that, I want to quickly keep out something. Mr. Inter said something about 10,000 minimum wage. So introduced in 2019, like Buhari, not Jonathan. So that's what I want to bring up. And as far as the election is concerned, he usually say something that amazing things most of the time, that the Nigerian knows the truth about what transpired during the election. Please, I want him to tell us what is it that happened in his own polling unit that made him feel that actually did not really win the election. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for airing your opinion.
I would like to say something to
okay,
people.
yeah, please,
I'm a
go
media
ahead.
person. And the INEC chairman is a professor. He went to Chatham House and said 99.9% he was sure they will upload from polling units. That's my grouse. I want to see the explanation they will give the tribunal. Now, as a professor, he said that. Not just that, a few days to the in November 2022, he called a press conference in his office that somebody somewhere insinuated that you are not going to upload from polling units, and he called it fake news, that Nigerians should regard it as fake news. So those two things that he said, that's why I'm taking INEC up. That's the number one person for INEC. I don't have a grouse with. Excuse me. I don't have a grouse with anybody that came around to say, oh, who has won or who has not won. But I have a grouse with that number one person who went as far as Chatham House, where every candidate of leading political parties in Nigeria went to talk to the world about what they want to do. And he went, and 99.9. You don't be you, as a professor, you can't be flippant with figures. That he was 99.9% sure that it will work. That he worked in Osun for INEC. That he worked in Ekiti. That they have had 95 constituency, and suddenly it was not being done on election day. That is my number one grouse. I want to know that. So beyond that, it's not about Asiwaju Tinubu. It is not about other parties or whatever. But my own is that we're talking about technology. That was the confidence that most young people in Nigeria had that made them had interest in that election.
With that seeming infraction, if somebody else
it's a major one. It is a major one.
It is major. If somebody else had been declared the winner outside Asiwaju, would you be singing the same song?
I'm saying it is not right. Let everybody sit down and look at it that way.
Well, Andrews, if I can tell,
that's what I'm saying.
His reaction.
He's here with me. That's why I'm putting it to him.
Well,
if somebody else had been declared.
Okay, other persons would have taken him up if indeed that did not happen. I'm talking about uploading of results. Going on IREV portal from your bedroom.
The portal, they hacked it. You heard about it now.
All right,
so there is a mother server, and these are the things and revelations that we are supposed to see in court.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Yes.
All right, your name, where are you calling from?
Olóyèdè Abdulaziz calling from Osogbo.
All right, you're welcome.
On the issue of INEC not transferring to the server, is it any constitution that back it as if INEC chairman say anything on maybe on to the press or any other organization, is it constitutional that if it's not going to that direction again, the constitution can do anything against it or the court? But what I know is that the constitution has said INEC has every right to declare elections the way it likes. And the INEC chairman has declared the election that is I told Bola Ahmed Tinubu that one Buhari has allowed all these political parties to use money, and that's what you want. They will be shouting that they are use the money, they are do money back, they are do this, they are do that. So far, actually did not use money. Now they are shouting the election has been rigged. That's how they will be shouting. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your contribution. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
This is Adewumi from Osun.
All right.
I think the issue of whether they transfer to the IREM or not should be laid to rest now. What happened to the America? It was this very thing was hijacked, and at the end of the day, the rest is history. So the issue, there's no any constitutional law that say if it doesn't do that, like what the man have just said. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for your contribution. We have to move away from the administration or no administration. Asia, let's touch this one. It's about the oil sector and, of course, the Dangote refinery that was inaugurated yesterday. A lot to say about this one, but let's take it from the people's angle. The 650,000 barrels per day BPD capacity refinery, which was declared open yesterday, actually gives some people hope that the hike in price of petroleum and maybe reduce at least to a minimal point. And also, on another side, there are some people who are saying we shouldn't be too happy because we do not know what will come after that due to the fact that this is a business. First off, I'd like to start from telling us what you know about this refinery, everything you know about it, so we can, open the eyes of people more to it and let them understand better what this refinery is all about.
This refinery is privately owned by Dangote, a conglomerate. Before we got here, we have been shouting in this country that our oil sector, we needed to do something about it. Most times we go on queue, and it was becoming a recurring decimal. The government couldn't solve the problem of refinery, bring them up to standard. But then people were given chance. They were given license to have oil and have your refinery if you could. But rather they were trading with it. Then one man took up the gauntlet and saying that he's going to go the whole hog to have a refinery. He chose Lagos, he was given, and he went about it. Today, we are all smiling that something good. A refinery will produce 650,000 barrels per day. It's likely to engage 300,000 fresh jobs for Nigerians. It has ability to process petroleum crude from byproducts to it's good because the humongous amount we use to import finished products of crude will no longer be there. We will now be doing it within Nigeria. So definitely is the best thing to happen to Nigeria. The big brother status we claim we have is now coming back. Many countries in Africa will be bringing their crude if they have it for them to process it here and give it back to them. So we are going to realize humongous amount of foreign reserve from this. So the point I'm saying is that for all it's worth, Nigeria will be better off.
With this refinery.
Of course.
All right, over to you, Larry. What do you think about this refinery, and how would it be of major help this time around because of the kind of hope than they have been feeling before when it's come?
The owners of the refinery, I know ordinarily it should be to the benefit of Nigeria. Ordinarily.
Yeah.
That is, if there is commitment and sense of patriotism on the part of the incoming administration. Why do I say this? Now, the oil we have in Nigeria in the past, we have to ship it out for refining. Some they sell, even some were stolen on the high seas. That was evidently shown some months back that there was a barge that was stealing Nigerian oil that was destroyed eventually anyway. So all that, if it is focused on the refinery that we have here, then we should expect some leverage. However, don't forget that succeeding administrations have told us that they have been subsidizing so that Nigerians will have a cushioning effect. And the sing-song in the last few months of this administration is that they wanted to now remove that subsidy at a time that a refinery is being opened in Nigeria. So if the refinery comes out to say, ordinarily, if they remove subsidy, you ought to be buying petrol at 800 naira per litre, because they have removed subsidy, but by the time we refine oil, you will buy at 600. Now, would Nigerians think it when Niger had their own refinery in place, that Nigeria could not bring up new ones? We spoke severally about modular refineries. Some people were refining locally, illegally of course, and we were not told that those products did not function, but that they were doing it. Why not register such people? Let me tell you one of the strangest things that happens that we have never looked at in Nigeria. Now, oil is in the south. Our major refineries are scattered. Why not get refineries close to, you see, when you look at factors to be considered when citing industries, you look for where the raw material is. Why not look for where the raw material
location
is
of industry,
and then you look at where your communities around those places, so that if there is a major issue at there, those ones can still supply volumes of water to places near them.
All right, let's hold it to Andrews.
Yes, a monopoly is a government